What's up, ultra happy people? I am your host, ultra runner and coach Tanya, your magnificent co-host Andy.
I'm here, 3 people.
And Abbey is joining us in the studio. We have an actual guest, like physical guest. I think it's the first time
I don't think we've ever had 3 people in.
There was one before, but we'll tell you about it. We recorded, but we didn't press record, so we lost the interview, which we will record again. But this is the second time, and this one is going to be, we're recording. I can see it. And how's everyone doing? We don't have Andy's facts. Abbey was very sad about that.
Abby's more important.
Abby's more important. So I'm giving her all the time. Abbey, we are going to have a great chat. Abbey has been a volunteer in Jordan. So yes, she has some stories about my downfall in Jordan and how I had so much fun out there. And she is doing Gobi in the future. So we'll answer her questions and all the questions that she may have. But most importantly, she has done Atacama before. And that's why we're here, because I don't know if I have any more questions, but all the information you can get from someone that has done it before, it's key, I think. So thank you so much for coming, Abbey.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Welcome to Dubai.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. First of all, she is moving from Singapore to Dubai. That is the plan, isn't it?
Yeah.
When are you moving? When is the final move?
Easter to summer, not quite sure on dates.
Do it before summer, because
You're
otherwise
moving from hot to hotter.
I know.
Yeah,
We like challenges. That's why we do these races.
Well, I will see you here running in. I will have a running partner now.
Another one?
Another one. He's getting jealous. What do you mean another one? But yeah, summer here gets a little brutal. So it's going to be good for your training for...
Yeah, excellent. But yeah, you have to take me running.
Yeah.
Tell me where to go.
Oh,
yes.
no, you don't want to do that.
Stop me getting lost.
I do that and I'm now stopping it.
Tanya lies a lot. Let's just say that.
I'll give you an example, okay? So Tanya says to us, what we'll do is we'll go to the Shoka Hills, and I think the course is round about 10 kilometres. 15 kilometres, and I'm saying to Tanya, I thought it was 10 kilometres. She's like that, yeah, it's a bit longer, and I look up and I see what's called the mother hump, which is vertical. So we had to climb up over that as well, and it ended up 19 kilometres. So be careful what you wish for.
But if I tell him it's going to be 20 with a massive climb, he will be like, no, I'm not going. You know what I mean?
But now he knows your trick.
I know.
So it's a lie to get Andy out running. It doesn't seem right, does it?
It's just here, Abby, just very close.
Andy, you can come out with me.
I think anybody but Tanya.
I'm gonna be. But listen, Abby is also doing the Gobi race, the Gobi March with your hobby as well.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we are so excited!
Yeah.
Because as you know, guys, Andy is taking the leap also in Greece, which Abby is doing it as well. But wondering, have you raced with your husband before?
No, never.
Are you excited about that?
I came back from Atacama and he said, "Oh, I think I quite want to do one."
Yeah, they get jealous of the experience, isn't
Like,
it?
I can't let you have your midlife crisis alone.
Yeah.
So we'll have to do it together. But I signed us up, and now he's a bit annoyed because he was like, "Well, I just said I wanted to do it. I wasn't actually going to sign myself up."
Is he a runner already?
No, he does a lot of walking and hiking.
Right,
He used
okay.
to do a lot when he was in the army.
Yeah.
But no.
Oh, he has an army background. He
Has
will
an
be
army
fine.
background, so that whole pack thing and the resilience.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
there is a lot of probably a lot of racers that have like a military background or military kind of, so they like the mindset's already there.
Yeah.
The like the stamina and the perseverance and all that. The mindset is already there. So
I'm not worried about him. I'm
Yeah.
worried about me.
I was gonna say,
and how I'm gonna treat him.
That's the thing. I was telling that to Andy the other day that I think he doesn't know how he's going to react to certain things until you are in that moment. Maybe now me, because I've done enough races in my life, I kind of start knowing when I'm getting angry or anxious or whatever, and I know how to calm myself down. But it has taken a little bit of time because you don't know how you're gonna react to certain challenges or being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, no, I'll be fine. We're like, I don't really know. Like, it's something you've never experienced, right? So
No, and I mean, my personal feeling is, I don't know how you guys find it, but in the races, you can be in a really, really dark place. And even though you come out of the races with people that will be your lifelong friends, when you go into them, you're still trying to make a relatively good impression. So you're not going to be like a total biatch to them. But then with someone that you love,
you have like the
there's no filter.
You're comfortable and you're comfortable and you're like, oh, shut up. Yeah. I that's what I was saying.
I never really thought of it like that. I'm quite a pragmatic person. In my head, everything is very simple. In my previous jobs in the past, I used to be on my feet walking for 12 hours sometimes. So I've got things like that in my head where I think to myself, if I can do that for 12 hours, then I can walk or run. And then the same when it comes to other parts of it. I don't think too much about it. If I just get one foot in front of the other, I'll keep going. So in my head, that's the way it'll be. But I never really took into the factor of Tanya at my back, nipping my heels or moaning at me.
No, but I was saying
that will happen now.
I was saying that I think I will take the back seat because obviously I would just, you know, kind of like chill and just let him be and don't take anything personal or nothing, you know, because he may need to air out. It's like he may need, you know, a little bit because
I'll take a notebook.
I know, sign it.
Okay, right, this is what we're talking
it's
about.
It's recorded. Because he, like he's saying, he's been walking, right? But he hasn't been walking maybe in a steep hill and having that, you know, the whole pressure of the backpack. And like Greece is going to be, I think, a lot of elevation and just feeling, there's a lot of feelings that maybe, I think until you are put in that position, you really...
Yeah, and you will absolutely have some dark moments.
Yeah.
But you can absolutely do the first day.
Yeah.
And then it's, okay, I'm going to go to bed. And I'm going to... No one quits, like, overnight in camp, really, right? Yeah. You kind of got through a day, and then you just got to get started the next one. Yeah. And it like pink flag to pink flag. Yeah. That's all.
Pink flag to pink flag. There you go.
I was doing runner's math before I knew it was runner's math. So I always think to myself, if I can do 20 kilometres, then I can do 40, you know, because I was able to complete 20 kilometres.
Yeah.
I think the thing in my head is that doing the long march, that is the thing that sort of makes me nervous the most because it's the complete unknown for me. So I think that it'll just be a case of trying to break that down, and obviously we'll do some sort of training camp beforehand. It might even be in Scotland actually, where we do an overnight and walking and going right through. But I think that's the only thing that makes me nervous because that's completely unknown to me.
I thought the overnight was great.
Do you like it? Did you like it? Yeah.
I like the overnight as well. It's my favorite.
And why would that be? Why do you?
I loved like the solitude of being on my own. It's also like it's pretty out there in your head. Yeah. It's dark, or actually we had a full moon that night, which was cool.
Is this Atacama?
This was Atacama, but you're out there, like this amazing landscape.
Yeah.
It's also pretty nuts that you're just walking through this landscape on your own. There's no one around. It's the middle of the night, and you haven't got anything else to do.
Yeah.
I think that's the great thing about these races.
Yeah.
Right? All you are worrying about is yourself. It's the perfect time to be selfish.
Yeah.
And you just got to feed yourself, water yourself, and put one foot in front of the other.
Yeah. That's quite an interesting point you made in the beginning there about being out there yourself. I think for anybody that's not done it as well, that might be something that's a bit scary for them. How do you get through that? Is it just, do you think about it? Do you actually just enjoy it, or?
I just enjoyed it, and I guess if you're thinking, I'm following a pink flag.
Yep.
And actually, if you're worried about being out in the dark, people have got their headlights on, so you generally can see people either in the distance
or behind.
From a safety perspective, I mean, I guess you could still go, and as people did in Jordan, go pretty wrong between one checkpoint. But, you know, checkpoint to checkpoint, they're keeping tabs on where you are. In Atacama, there are guys roving around on motorbikes anyway, the course team. So there's always
something or
Someone.
someone
You feel
about
safe.
it. Yeah.
I'm gonna
And-
say
and
you always feel safe.
Because you are so in the middle of nowhere, and there's not even any trees. There's not really anyone that's going to suddenly jump out.
Yeah.
I didn't have that fear.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I have that realization in Namibia. I was like in the middle of the night, and then exactly I was like, "Oh my God, this is so beautiful." I'm alone in the middle of Namibia, like in the middle of the desert, and then I'm like, "Hold on a second. I'm alone in the middle of the desert by myself. There's no, you know what I mean? Like, first of all, like my first thought is like, oh, how beautiful it, and then I'm like, hold on a minute. I know. Am I saying this right? Like, this could be, you know. So it depends how your mindset takes it, right? Because if you turn it in 1 second, I'm like, ooh, this sounds quite scary. But then just kind of like flip it to be like, no, but you're fine. We're actually enjoying it. Go back to that place. And I just kind of went back to like, oh, how like kind of enjoy
There is bizarre things that happen. Someone get hit with a bike, remember?
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Oh, yeah.
Someone get. I mean, you would think that you would hear it or see it.
Well,
or whatever,
no, because
but
you are in your own
you're in the
world,
zone,
even
yeah,
if
Tanya
you're
said
not listening to me.
It was close to the town, so there was like
Okay.
someone just riding like a bicycle, not bike, I think like a bicycle.
Yeah,
like
bicycle,
a bicycle,
yeah.
and then just like it was so weird. But yeah, you'll be like, yeah, it's just part of the adventure. Like you
Yeah.
never know what you're gonna literally find out there. But in general, it's very safe. So and I always come back and say that my favorite day is the long march. So I'm really excited. I know you're a little scared, but
Yeah.
I am very excited. I think you will enjoy it.
It's funny, everyone that we speak to has always enjoys the long march, even
Yeah.
though it's grueling and it's difficult to get there, and you like you say, you do have these demons in your head that are fighting you all the way there. But when they complete it, that's like the real achievement. It sounds like.
Yeah, once you
which
finish
is-
that, I think
it's
you're done.
amazing.
It's usually the last day. Usually, Gobi is a little different, but all the other ones, usually the long march is the last day.
Yeah.
So you kind of
And
like.
do you find it quite emotional when you go over the finish line, or are you just relieved?
Well, I can speak to how I felt at the end of Atacama,
Yeah.
which was and I think there's video footage of this. I was so happy to finish, but I was also in a zombie-like state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I took off my trainers. I just
Throw them away.
left them
Never
in the town
again.
square. But then after that, I walked back to the race hotel, and I was just sitting in the lobby, and everyone's reflecting, and they make their first phone call and all of that. And then I just plummeted after that. Like I got so cold, and I started trying to put my sleeping bag on in the lobby, and so some of my friends were like, oh, maybe we should just check if you're okay.
Yeah.
And I just had a massive like cortisol dump at the end of the race.
Right,
Oh,
okay.
speaking about
Well,
cortisol,
that's interesting
that's
as well,
interesting that you're saying that. How obviously, one topic that we speak about quite a lot in the podcast is about women in endurance sports, because I think we live it a little bit different than men, even from training, from the training obviously to the actual race. How did that go for you before and even after the race? Did you see any change, like you were saying, like those emotional up and downs for us are quite like obviously bigger than men? And did you see anything, like any difference? That you had any, like you were saying, like cortisol, like stress? Yeah. How long it took you to go back to your normal self?
So.
For whatever that means.
So I'm still not there.
I was going to say, you probably know what I mean. People that are listening, what do you mean to go back to your normal? Yeah, it's just a whole unbalance that happens. So
I think I'm going to have a totally different strategy for Gobi.
all right. Okay. So what happened in Atacama that you...
So I think it's a combination you're doing, and it was the first like multi-stage race I'd
that you ever done. Okay.
So I was so proud of myself. And then... you get home. It took me 54 hours to get from
that's another thing. Yeah.
San Pedro to Singapore. You see your family after all this time. And it was amazing. And my girls were just so happy I'd done this big thing. But you're also like, oh my God, last week I was walking through the desert on my own. And now I'm back in reality.
It's weird. Yes.
And I don't think I gave myself enough grace to process that big thing. I also just basically moved to the sofa for the rest of the year. And I think my immunity was just shot. Got everything going as went into the winter, even though it's Singapore, you still cold and everything. I think I needed to look at my nutrition. I was feeding myself whatever I thought I wanted, but that wasn't necessarily the best thing.
Yeah.
And I just...
After the race, by any chance, did you weigh yourself? Like, did you had a lot of water retention?
I hadn't weighed myself like before and after. I think I lost some water weight, but my weight after the race like went up pretty rapidly.
Yeah. Same thing. Same happened to me.
That's which I do think is cortisol, and I know that from like work stress. So any stress anyway. Yeah. That's how my body reacts. So
right, okay.
We're in the same boat. We're in the same boat, sister. So
really,
obviously,
really
like I know, and I'm like, Auntie's is starting to run a lot. He's like losing pretty fast, and I'm just going up and up and up, and I'm like, well, this needs to stop. But I need to stop racing these extreme races. Like you did one, right? Now imagine the hit of 5. Like my body is absolutely shattered. Like we were saying that in one of the podcasts, if anyone's coming into these things to get the best physique of their life, I wouldn't recommend it. You're not going to get it. But women, maybe men, I don't know. You guys react different. I've heard many guys that racing that they do lose a lot of weight, but sadly is muscle weight. So actually you're not getting in the best physique either. So I am like, just know that you're not alone, and it's absolutely normal. And I went through the same thing, and I love that you put it out there, because I feel the standards that are out there in general are like, pushing us to look or to feel some way or to be, or even girls are like, oh, I could never do what you do. That's for really fit and strong people. And, like, yeah, but it doesn't require you to be a certain size or certain age or a certain number. At all numbers in these races are absolutely out. Like,
oh my God, the span of like ages. Anyway.
Exactly.
And I think some of the women, I had 3 really fast women in my tent, and they were, sorry ladies if you're listening and get it wrong, but like 50s to very late 60s.
Yeah. That's our peak performance for endurance. The older you get, it's one of those sports that is so unique that you get better with age, which doesn't happen in a lot of sports. Golf only. Only sports that are skilled based rather than powered based, because your power is going to be decreasing, but your skill of getting better in endurance and solving and mental strength, all that thing gets better with age. So out there, if you ever interested in racing these things and you think you're too old or too whatever, this is the place for you.
You can do it any age.
At any age.
And I think we need to change what fit and strong like really looks like.
Yeah,
right. Absolutely. Yeah. I think I'm guilty of that, I think. Even though I know this, I sometimes struggle with confidence, and more so after these races. I came in with a certain body or certain physique that I was very proud of, and then after 5 races, it has absolutely gone. And your confidence, it gets a little bit shot, obviously, after it. Like you were saying, like, oh, I gained this weight, or I feel, a little bit bloated, or you feel guilty because you are relaxing or resting or recovering. But you did a massive thing. Like, that's what you should do, And I feel like always the society push you to like, oh, you need to do one more, and you always need to be like in beast mode, and you're like, no, I need actually to relax, because that's actually what's making me worse, So
I live by the rule that if you go into a gym, the strongest man's not the best physique.
No, never.
The strongest man is generally the bigger guy who doesn't necessarily have the best physique, but he will lift the heaviest weights.
Yeah,
and I think that always sticks with me,
Absolutely.
I have a question for you, and you might want to answer it in 2 parts. Did you have any preconceived ideas going into the race? Obviously from a health point of view beforehand, because we'd done a lot of research on it, and we couldn't really find anything about the health side of it. But also, you were a volunteer before, weren't you?
A volunteer after, actually.
Oh, you were a volunteer after, also you'd done it the opposite way. So did you have any preconceived ideas of going into the race, thinking about the race itself?
So from a health perspective, and let me know if I'm not answering the right question. I didn't have preconceived ideas other than I thought I needed to be really, fit and strong. Probably my biggest concern was, what if I get ill, like through the race?
Right.
Because I find like if I'm not sleeping very well, that's when, my immunity starts to go down. So that whole like, you're going to be doing this day after day, how is that going to come about? But to be honest, other than mental resilience, I'm not sure there's a great deal you can do to prepare yourself or your body for that.
Yeah, there's no...
Because also, like, we know that doing 5 races in one go is not like,
the healthiest.
Optimal. So don't go and practice this multiple times.
That's what they like, don't do this, but totally do it.
But I think it was, so for me, Atacama is in September. The 8th of January that year, I broke my ankle.
Oh, did you?
And, immediately it was a big thing. I'd signed up to this race. It's like, all my plans are going to be shattered. But I had surgery and I had a great doctor who knew what I wanted to do and worked through that. But I had to keep checking myself, like, from a process perspective. Okay, I'm not going to be doing, a volume of like 50K a week. Or it's about being fit and strong for what you are at the time, and then the mental resilience.
That's excellent advice as well, Abbey, there, that you don't need a high volume, people think, oh, you're ultra runner, oh my God, I can't do those races because I have a family and I can't be out there every day running 3 hours. Like, you don't need a big volume if you like it and you have the time. I mean, of course you could, but if you don't have the time or you don't like it, I don't like running that much. So I try my training to be low volume, and I just focus in being strong a little bit more time at the gym. That I do enjoy that a little bit more than running. So that's a very good point, Abbey, and you are a true testament that it actually works and you can actually finish super strong. And then that you felt a little bit ill after the race. That's also a little bit, not a little bit, it's very normal as well.
Yeah.
I am in contact obviously with a lot of races through these 5 deserts that a lot of them get sick after. I haven't. I think I've been lucky, but after... Just grumpy. Because I'm really hungry. And I'm like, I want to go back to the desert.
It's the best time ever for me because we get pizza every night.
It's so good. Just eat whatever's in sight.
Yeah, I'm trying to, like you said, restrict. But, you also want to celebrate and you're hungry and, that you have to live a little bit. So, yes, you're doing this amazing thing, but I cannot be coming back and eating... I know maybe not be the best, but I just lived 6 days in the desert. The least I want is a salad, But I was saying, what I was saying? I forgot. But yeah, exactly. So it's really good that you say that. It's everyone doing out there, and you have a sister with a broken ankle as well.
We have the same situation. Yeah, I have metalwork in my ankle as well, so it's.
But if she can do it, there you go.
So inspiration.
And do you know what? This ankle is now stronger than...
Is it better?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you do to train it a bit? How did you get it there?
How did
you get your ankle stronger than it?
How did you train it?
A lot of just physio.
Was it?
And then I would do like low impact. So I might go out and do a 2-hour like run hike, and then I'd get on the bike for an hour when I was doing like longer training sessions.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of physio. I think my physio is one of the reasons that I finished it. She's also a really good therapist, so I just...
Physio is like / strength a little bit, because sometimes I do some exercises and I'm like, this is what my physio would send me. But it's like...
I know, and she would try and make me do actual exercise when I was
exactly.
there. It's like, no, I just came to see you for a foot rub.
No. Physio sometimes is, grabbing a weight and working on the strength. So it's the same. Well, not the same, but it's, some exercises are very... they kind of cross between those two, strength and physio.
I think, as I said to you before, and the listeners will know, it's my biggest fear of doing the ultra in Greece is that because every now and again it'll just randomly seize up. It seems to be after I've done a long run and I stop for any period of time, then it's like it doesn't want to do anything.
So you like play with different things after those long runs. Like,
Yeah.
okay, what's it going to be like overnight and when I get up the next day?
Yeah.
Because I always find it's as soon as I get out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, I'm the
like,
same.
And
What's wrong with me
in your
today?
body.
Yeah.
But I was saying, Andy, that usually you end up the day thinking, how the hell am I going to do this tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow? But know that when you wake up, somehow it
you
works
will.
out.
Make
Yeah.
sure you've got some good breakfast.
Yeah.
What is it you have for breakfast?
So I had porridge last time.
Oh.
I'm probably going to not have such a filling porridge.
Yeah.
But what I discovered in Jordan, I think same principle, because as volunteers, like we were getting up at 4 a.m.
Oh, yeah, you guys.
I would have a hot
rockstars.
chocolate before my coffee.
Right.
And the sugar,
Sugar.
like in the system, you're like, okay, I feel alive, I feel human. So
Okay.
I'm going to play around with like hot chocolate and getting some extra calories in that way.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I love that.
And then, yeah, have a lighter breakfast and
Yeah.
then just a bar, like, ready to go.
Yeah.
And so your nutrition for the actual run in itself, what was it you were using for that?
I used bars, dried fruit and nuts to mix it up
Oh,
a bit.
nuts
Right,
are
okay.
lovely.
Yeah.
Nuts are my
Nuts are good,
favorite.
but yeah, so I had like baked strawberries, mango, I think some banana in there. And I put all my snacks for the whole day in like a Ziploc in, a bum bag. And all my bars were chopped up. So I
Yeah.
kind of knew what I needed.
Oh, so it was just mouthfuls you would take almost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to have a bar this hour and
Yeah.
then have something else. And I would usually have, even if it was backup, some liquid carbs for later in the day.
Yeah.
And if I was going for longer, that was something quite good to,
Yeah.
keep on standby.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great
Are you
idea.
taking notes?
But we've never heard that before where someone
Are
chops
you
bars up
taking
and then
notes?
sort of takes it as, because when runners are out, what they'll do is they'll take a gel or they'll take a gummy
Yeah,
or they'll
yeah.
take a bar itself.
It looks
but
like
that
you're
mix-up's
more
really good.
with you're better with food, like real food,
Yeah.
like bars and
Well, I
things like
think
that.
as well, I just knew I couldn't do. I think you said you did
Yeah,
gels.
I
I don't.
did,
I don't
yeah.
think I could do 6 days of gels.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a bit brutal. More brutal for your stomach. Maybe you did recover your stomach a little bit better
Maybe.
than probably
And actually,
me.
I didn't train with gels for the whole
don't
race in
change
Atacama.
anything.
So and now I've just already started training, and I'd like making up a big
Yeah.
bag of trail mix. And
I like
Yeah.
it's a
that.
big treat.
I do have
I love
nuts
that idea.
though, and I do have nuts just because I love the change of the how gels are like the texture of it is just jelly.
Yeah.
Or the drinks you're drinking carbs is water. So I have the nuts because they're crunchy and salty. So for me, that's the only thing I take just because it changes a little bit the texture and the flavor.
Yeah.
But Andy's taking notes because
Yeah.
he's gonna have
And
to.
what about your evening nutrition?
Look
afterwards?
at him.
I know.
He never asks me that.
I'll share my spreadsheet with you.
I know. He never asks me anything.
Evening meal, I would have like freeze dried. Generally, it was pasta,
Uh-huh.
spaghetti bolognese, or mac and cheese.
Yeah.
But I had salt and vinegar crisps or chips
Yes.
smashed up, and
Yeah.
I would put those on my meal every night.
Oh, and I just ate them like
okay.
this, but
Yeah.
yes.
But
And was
chips.
that like your luxury thing? Because everyone talks about they have to have something at the end of the day they go to and they can look forward to.
I still to this day think mac and cheese with salt and vinegar. This is amazing. So they probably ended up being a luxury. I will absolutely do that again. And then I would have it sounds so ridiculous, 2 to 3 like nice candies or something.
Yeah.
I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, how generous of myself.
I know. I was carrying one bag of Takis because I'm Mexican,
those,
right? The
yeah.
big
Ones,
spicy
yeah.
ones. That was my treat. But it was one of the tiny baby
Yeah.
bags. So I gave myself 2 Takis a day, and I was like,
one
that
is
is
so
so nice.
smashed up
And
by
then I
the
was
egg.
I loved it.
I know, and I would eat my second one because the bag is it has freaking 10 only,
Yeah.
10 little Takis. So I was like, I need to be smart here. I need to be smart. Only 2, Tanya. And I was
Yeah.
loving every second of it. But yeah, exactly. You're counting your chips. It is.
But it's
different.
amazing what brings you happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're looking forward. I remember we were sleeping in the tent and we had a game. Probably super. That should be so bad because we were sleeping and we were like, if you were at home, what would you have for dinner
Oh,
today?
that's bad.
And we would this cry oh, I want a burger with like tons of cheese, and we were just like, and everyone's like in the, in the tent, just kind of like everyone drooling and like,
oh, and everyone's just planning,
and everyone's like, oh, that's a good one, or that was our chat, like.
That's how I got through the slot canyons with my friend Kristen. We talked about sandwiches for 3 hours.
Yeah. When people think like, why did you guys talk? Where do you guys talk like for 10 hours? Like, what is the topic? You're like, oh,
what am I gonna have in my sandwich?
People think like we are like these like deep thoughts and deep, this like really serious thinking and about life, and we're just talking about sandwiches and what we're going to eat when we get there. And I remember the first one after we finished Namibia, I was so like, I wanted ice so bad. So we ran to this restaurant to get a sparkling water with ice. And I remember holding the glass and just looking at it like, I just ordered ice and she brought it. Like, how stupid is, like, I've been like dreaming for it with 16.
It's the most magical.
Isn't that? Yeah. It just, everything feels, it's a different, it's like being reborn a little bit. Like, you kind of feel that experience.
People talk about it, because you're out for a week, people talk about you being able to almost rewire your brain in some ways. Do you feel that that's something that you can do? Or is there things that you took away from it that you thought, I'm going to do differently now?
Yeah, I think it's really powerful that you do spend a week out there and in total simplicity, as it were. You're doing something really hard.
Yeah.
But I think that's why you come back and you see ice and you're like, wow, this is amazing.
Or a shower, you're like...
A shower.
What?
Yeah, everyone starts talking about showers from about day 4.
Yeah, I need a shower urgently.
I think you realize that you are such a like small person in this big world.
Yeah, I feel that in Antarctica.
And maybe it's because you're looking at the sky and the stars. And I said to people when I got back, I don't want to be all like, woo, I found myself in the desert. But it's definitely an element of that.
Yeah.
And probably why I'm going back.
Yeah. It's probably because you're with yourself and you're able to think through things. A lot of people come back from these things and say that they find that challenges aren't as big anymore. So the day-to-day challenges are things that in the past what you would have done is you would have got a bit upset about it or be anxious about it. When you complete an ultra to that sort of magnitude, especially being out there for 5-6 days, that some of the smaller day-to-day problems just don't bother you anymore because you know you solve them.
Yeah. I think that's really true. I think you come out of it braver.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah. That's the word I used as well. Excellent. Well, Abbey, you also volunteer in Jordan. Is there any story? Not my story. People don't want to hear.
Tanya looks beautiful during the races. We should all know that.
Everyone's like, who's sponsoring the lashes? I said, if I'm going to pass out there, I'm gonna be a beautiful pass out corpse there. I want my lashes done. I have a big day out before I get my hair done. I just feel like a little like human before I go into not feeling human.
Yeah, I think it's really wise.
But did you? How did you feel about volunteering? What was the difference between racing, obviously in Atacama, and then going
and then being a volunteer?
I guess you guys have so much fun.
You have a lot of fun. Again, we probably need to redefine what fun means, but
we're not the people to ask what fun is, clearly.
I think it's really great seeing the other side of it.
Yeah.
And also, like, what the volunteers can offer you as a racer.
Yeah.
But, like, you and I were speaking earlier, that we don't necessarily take advantage of. The volunteers want everyone to do really well. They are there to help you hopefully lift spirits.
Yeah.
But also, I think, we respect that sometimes you just need your own space. But I think it's really cool to watch everyone, like, come through and see how happy the volunteers are for all the races.
Yeah. That is another thing.
Not that I enjoyed watching you all struggle, but I liked being able to see that.
Yeah, to see how they come back alive. And you even see them, like, obviously you see maybe a fellow runner or a fellow racer
And maybe
having a really rough day,
And
and
maybe you can help with that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And maybe you can just give someone a hug and you know that it's
Yeah.
going to make it a little bit better.
Jordan was particularly hard, I think. How do you think it was hard? You from outside?
So everyone was talking about the heat, and I don't know whether, because I live in the heat as well.
Yeah.
I didn't find it as...
It was not as hot as Namibia,
hot,
for example.
but whereas like we had a really, really hot time in Atacama, but I was okay with that too. So the
you're good
heat,
with
but I
heat.
think it was the exposure in Jordan too.
Yeah.
I know the overnight checkpoint where everyone had to climb up that hill. I've never seen so many angry people throughout one evening. Everyone came over the brow of the hill like, what was that? Like, oh.
I was probably one like that. I was like, I'm certainly not going up there. And I turn around and I see these twinkling lights going literally like just a wall. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I don't know, but I'm not doing that. And then I was like, bitching halfway through it. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm halfway through it now. I guess I am doing that. But yeah, I got to the gym, we're like, what is that?
Yeah, and everyone was very angry because none of their GPSs were working.
I love that you're like, everyone's very angry.
And you're like, we can't really help you that your watch is telling you that you've done like 117 kilometers. That's the governmental issue. So there's some things like as a volunteer, like you really can't magic
No,
away.
I know, that's funny because I got there pretty bitching about everything. I'm glad to know that I wasn't.
And I think you start to see how like once people have gone through this, just like what suddenly is on their minds. So when the race finished, and so you get like an award, obviously, but you also get like a jacket or a jumper.
Yeah.
And yeah, believe me, I only do these races for the swag, right? And it's nice. But people are like, oh, this is the wrong size. I need to swap it. And you start to see like very different sides of people. And you really are like, I did this race, I did this really hard thing, and I just want my jacket. Like, I know, but there's really very little we can do about that.
Oh, poor volunteers.
What you do in those situations is just make up a name of someone and just say you have to speak to Dave.
Yeah.
There is no Dave, but that doesn't. They just go looking for Dave.
Well, let's go into Atacama, Chad, because obviously you've done it before, you survived it through, and that's my last race. I am so excited.
You're gonna love it.
I think everyone that I've asked that've done several races or even that one, they all say that it's one of the most beautiful in the scenery wise and kind of experience wise. So yeah, talk to me about.
But I think we need to talk about terrain. Everyone seems to talk about terrain.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of bits, but you tell me, Debbie, what should I be ready for?
Okay, get gaiters.
Yeah, I got my gaiters.
And get them stitched to your shoes.
Yeah, we got them.
All of
Yeah?
them.
Okay. Terrain. I think my view on terrain in any race is that
Brutal.
You're never going to know until you've done it, right?
Yeah.
So I can tell you a bunch of things. You can't really prepare for it.
Nothing.
So I can tell you how I found it. The first 2 days, I thought the terrain was horrendous.
Oh, yay.
But I think it was the altitude that was bothering me.
Okay.
So
Go back to altitude chat.
I really, really suffered in the altitude for sort of the first day and a half.
All right. How did you manage it, or what did you feel?
Well, it's only with hindsight that I realized that's what I was suffering with. But I thought I totally like overestimated my capabilities.
Yeah.
I remember getting to like checkpoint 1. I was like, this is so hard. Why is this so hard?
What is this so hard? Yeah.
You just keep going, and you're like, oh, okay. The elevation, like now I've compared it to Gobi, it seems like nothing, but you do have some pretty brutal climbs. So I think Gobi's meant to be more rolling.
Yeah. Always rolling.
There is a really big climb on day 2, I think. But that's after everyone talks about the slot canyons.
Yeah.
And I don't know how cold they're going to be because you guys are doing it in March versus September. everyone was really worried about really cold feet. I mean,
Yeah.
I think, it's fine. You're in and out of the
Yeah.
water and you start to figure out how to cross them.
Did you change your shoes, or did you just run with your normal shoes? Like, how did you manage your footwear in water?
Just normal shoes, just let them drain out.
Just done. Yeah, perfect.
Even if you're in a water crossing for a while, then you're back on the land. And
Yeah, I'm the
they just
same.
drain.
I don't.
And
I
what
don't
shoes
change.
did you use, just out of curiosity?
I used Hoka Challengers.
Right, okay. And you found them to be really good for
Yeah, really good.
Yeah. Because one of the chats we had about drainage, because it's not something that's ever described in a shoe.
Yeah.
So it's almost you have to speak to people to understand whether it's going to drain well and dry out well.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually, the drainage is probably more the socks you're wearing too.
As
Yeah.
well.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I had 2 pairs of socks, like wool, and a slightly more synthetic inner layer, like liner sock.
Yeah.
Oh, you have 2 socks you run with?
Yeah, I
yourself?
wear
Oh,
toe
right,
socks and
interesting.
then like an outer layer. And my toes were, my feet were pretty good.
That's another tip.
Yeah.
You could play around with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
Um,
prone to blisters?
I'm not prone to blisters.
Okay.
I'm prone to like really damaging my toenails.
Okay, all right. That's why you probably need that extra little cushion.
But I'd already lost half of them before the race, which
Bonus.
bonus. See how I can get them removed
Yeah.
before I do Gobi, which is so gross.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they acid them off, don't they?
That's another thing I
Yeah.
think we haven't spoke about in the podcast. I always speak about if you're prone to blisters, do this, do that. But also, you're right, if you're prone to damaging your toenails. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's also sort of, yes, maybe your shoe is a little bit to do with it, but also maybe you're just prone to it, like just
so I
you're-
wear like wider shoes now, and actually my shoes were a men's fit, which were even wider. So
Yeah.
I didn't then size up, but I had a wider fit.
Yeah.
So that worked well. But yeah, I didn't worry too much about the drainage. And after the slot canyons, there's no other like water
So after day
situation.
2, there's no more water.
There's no more water. Day 4 or day 5, the long march. So anyone who's read about Atacama will have heard about the salt plains.
Salt plates are going to be fun.
They're not very salty. I mean,
Just very dry.
well, it's like, is it dry or is it a mud pit?
Yeah.
'Cause you like
Just, like,
crack on
sink.
it and then you might sink.
Right, okay.
I don't always have the best track record of looking where I put my feet. So I thought, well, I'll go this way. Anyway, I end up in this like muddy bog.
Oh, no.
And I nearly lose my shoes.
Oh,
Also,
no.
everyone is just walking past me and they're like, oh, Abbey, are you okay? No one helped me, evil people.
I'll pass you a pole. I'll pull you over.
So, the beginning of the long march, I like fall in this mud pit and I just look like that for the rest of the race. But
Fun.
it's fine. The mud like cracks off eventually.
Right, yeah. I think we did a tiny bit in Namibia, like a tiny salt plain. I mean, probably nothing to do with that one. It will be like large scale and bigger. But I would imagine it's like cracky.
It's cracky.
Yeah.
And I think if you've got any ankle issues anyway, like you're not going to want to be running on those.
Yeah.
It's like if you ski, it's like moguls, but on the flat, but you're trying to navigate on your
Yeah.
feet. And
Yeah. Yeah.
you just kind of got to go mogul to mogul.
I am super excited.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
And there's June, so you've got good practice from Namibia.
Oh, you hated that.
I'm done. I am so done with like sand and heat, and I'm done. I mean, I'm very tired.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm very tired, so don't tell me. There's more sand, please.
Well, going back to the altitude thing, because we talked about it on last week's podcast,
Yeah.
was there anything that you had thought beforehand about altitude? And then also, when did you actually start to feel normal? You said that kind of about a day and a half, was it? But was that you, or was it gradual, or?
I think so.
Then you start going down.
Yeah, but it's still over 2,000 meters
You're
above sea
still
level,
really
so you're still
high.
very high no matter what.
So I think your body adapts to whatever like craziness you're doing anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you start to do that. But day 3, I had a really good day.
Right, okay.
I was like, oh, I'm like,
You're back.
yeah,
Feeling better.
Abby's back.
Abby's back. Not
mean-
dead anymore.
not about to like win the race,
Yeah.
but I felt
Experience.
like, oh, okay, this is good. I don't feel. The altitude made me almost feel like breathless.
Yeah.
Like I was just struggling a lot more than I thought I should be.
Yeah.
Did you had any like a headache or like feeling a little bit nauseous?
No, it was mainly just kind
feeling
of
very like
breathlessness.
Yeah.
like fatigued. Yeah.
And you know, like almost just you're a lot slower than
Yeah.
you think you are.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened. Everything slows down because your
There's
intake
no
of air,
oxygen, so-
your red blood cells don't carry the oxygen the way they would have done before. So
Yeah.
that's what happens. And a lot of people, well, the suggestion is that it's not during races that you should be taking pills or anything like that.
Yeah.
You should try and get there 3 days before, do light exercise at height, and that adjusts your body. Or take iron. If you take a lot of iron sort of tablets
Yeah,
and things
so that's
beforehand,
really
that helps.
interesting, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Also, didn't you say the cocoa leaves?
That's right,
Yeah.
yeah.
I wish I'd
Yep.
done those. I was there like 5 days early,
Yeah.
but I had a super long journey to get there. But I didn't really do any light exercise, so maybe
That would be
that is
something you
why.
would do if you
Okay.
went back.
you also, and I don't know if it's like a combination of things. Something about Atacama is daylight is pretty limited in terms
Oh, really?
of, so 7 a.m. sun comes up, but the race starts at 8.
Yeah.
So you're doing a lot of the morning stuff in the dark, and sun goes down, boom, like 7. So there's not much light in camp at
No.
all.
That makes things at
it's-
camp really difficult.
and it's freezing,
Oh,
particularly at the beginning.
Okay.
Right, okay.
So I think, and you're starting the race at high altitude, you're really cold.
Yeah.
I remember
Oh,
starting and being like, my toes, I can't feel them. But, you know, kind of, I think I would plan for that better next time. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I know I'm going to feel cold. And
Okay.
You've
Go a
got
little
that-
bit like
You've
warmer.
got this feeling of many things being not right
yeah.
at the one
That's what I was
time,
saying,
which
like
is the thing that's,
the
yeah.
uncomfortableness. Like I was saying, like you can maybe prepare for, train really hard for running, the backpack and all that. But there's other elements that you don't know, like that, like feeling uncomfortable. Like I was saying in Namibia, for example, everything was sandy. There was sand everywhere. You couldn't just move without feeling sandy. I ate probably a lot of sand. You will wake up, but there's like sand in your face. There's clearly not shower. So you feel uncomfortable. Like you're putting your backpack and everything is sandy and dusty and so like you were saying, like you're getting ready, feeling cold, like there's no light.
Yeah, you're trying to cram everything
see
in your pack,
everything.
Yeah.
and you can't feel your fingers.
And there's so many
and-
things you need to do in the morning of the race. You need to put your pack. You need to obviously brush your teeth, do a little bit of cleaning, whatever that means. Just I used to wash my face at least. Put a little deodorant and prepare your breakfast. And there is a lot of things to do and get ready for the day. And then you have to be quite like on it. Like you can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna lay down here for a little bit and I want to chill out. Like there's no chilling. Like you need to
There is no chilling.
No.
And I think, be aware of that for Atacama, unless you're getting back to camp at 2 p.m. Like, you have to be really on it when you get back to camp, because as soon as it's dark, you don't want to be doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
with
That's
a
what I was
torch.
telling Andy
That's
all
good
the
advice
time. And
as
whenever
well.
I came back, right away, get
Yeah.
all your stuff ready. Once the light is gone,
And you want to hang out with people, you want to chat to them, but actually, like, that is the time to be selfish. Like,
Yeah.
just be like, hi, I'm just going to go and sort
Yeah.
myself out
Yeah.
and do that. Like,
Yeah.
focus on number one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, same. I usually come back. I kind of like lay down in the tent for like an hour by myself, just kind of like unwinding the day. Like, oh my god, that just happened. And then, but if you're saying there's not much light, then I have to like get that done and then rest, because then I have to do it backwards a little bit. Yeah.
We were talking about your pack there. So what weight did you run with in your pack?
So mine was 8 kg, then plus my water.
So you're about
perfect.
around
So-
10. So you're around
Yeah.
10. And anything luxury in there?
And he wants to know your luxury items.
No, wet wipes actually.
Wet wipes.
Some people tried to tell me not to take them.
Yeah.
I was like, no. And I'm really happy I had them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hated my pack though, but
How
packs
come?
are really personal. I think I had the same one as you.
Oh, really?
The
Oh,
Raven
really?
one. Yeah, but I had to name him Rodney, and Rodney also got left behind in the
Oh
desert.
no! a lot of soldiers left behind.
Rodney was, my demon, and I did not love him. But I think that, again, I had trained with him, I trained with the weight, but I had a shoulder problem, and it just, I think if you're hiking all day and not running so much, I wanted something with more hip weight. That pack's quite high, and
that's good advice as well.
I was saying Andy that he needs to start kind of, you know, trying out, just kind of, and then maybe if he's not comfortable with all the weight in the backpack, also have a front pouch, which there's a lot of people that have front pouches, or a belt to kind of like distribute the weight, so it's not like purely 8 kilos in your back, because that can be a little so a lot of people put it in front. I have it all in the back, I don't mind, but you find it, you know, you need to start playing around with.
But you have something in the day, right? Like do you have a bum bag?
A bum bag, just because it's easier to get my food, like the food of the day, it's
I think that's
in the bum bag, and everything else is in the bag. Things that I'm not going to need, because I don't really take my backpack at all. I mean, apart from Jordan, where I was lying and I was like laying down for hours, but usually I don't.
Just keep it on.
I usually don't. I don't even sit down or anything. I just keep going. Yeah, so it depends on that as well. So that's important.
And did you train with your backpack with full weight?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
You were training with a weighted vest, remember?
At the beginning, but it's different, the weight distribution once you put it in the back.
So I trained with a lot of rice and
rice.
Water bottles.
Yeah.
I think we might still be eating that rice, you know. But the thing is, you don't want to train with all your kit, because you don't want everything to get grubby. But there is something to be said for having your pack feel like how it's going to feel on the day.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I am thinking about doing that now for Gobi.
Yeah, you need to put some weight on the backpack.
The rice and the water bottles don't translate to what a sleeping bag.
They're distributed differently. That's why, I find the weight of the rice, like it was, weird, because I've trained with both, obviously. Yeah. But now I know that it feels different. Yeah.
So this is maybe a question for both of you then when it comes to your pack. Do you find a specific way to pack your pack? So for example, with a sleeping bag, would you put it at the bottom because it's more comfortable, or would you position things in a specific place?
It's definitely something I'm gonna like play around with.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what I learned now.
What did you learn?
So at the beginning, the first Namibia and all that, I would just pack for comfortableness. And then I realized that I had to unpack to get my food. I would have to take everything out, you know, and like unpack and unpack, right? So what I've seen a lot of people do, and then I started realizing that was the way to do it, is to put obviously the things that you're not going to use all the way in the bottom.
Yeah. So
and then put your food from the last day to the first day front. So in the last races, what I've done is just literally open the top of my bag, take it out, and I actually haven't even had to open the whole bag.
So it's all in running order almost.
So it's in order, and then my sleeping bag is in outside.
Oh, okay, right at the bottom.
Yeah, because it doesn't fit inside. So I had it hanging with a tie outside. But you know what? That works fine. Yeah. It doesn't matter. And so you just plan it like in order. And then that bag has also the snacks and everything of the day. So I'll just take the Ziploc bag, the front, the one that's in the top, and that's the one that I'm using. So I didn't have to even open the whole bag.
Yeah, that's really good.
So I learned that because I had everything mixed at the beginning. Like I just had how I was just packing it to fit, right? To fit and comfortable rather than how you were going to use it. So it's something that also, if you're planning also, just kind of like
and I
how you're
think
going to use
like,
it.
So the pack that Tanya and I used is pretty small.
Yeah, it's very small.
You aren't really going to fit many luxury items in it. But I think I'm going to use a larger pack this time, not to take extra stuff.
But it's more comfortable to pack.
And so it's not such a drama when you're trying to shove everything in. And like, why can't I get this back in there even though I've got less stuff today? So I'm going to see how that goes this time around.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so you will need to start practicing with different bags for Andy.
Yeah.
All these things are exciting.
Exciting, you're excited. Well, Abbey is going to be also in Greece. So,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Reunion.
Reunion, yeah. So by then that will be your third one.
Yes.
Oh my God. You're going to be like a pro. So you're also, well, not Greece, but Gobi. So you're doing Gobi with your husband this year. Any questions? Have you seen it a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it looks wonderful. The terrain looks
much better. You're gonna
quite nice,
love it.
but the elevation terrifies me.
I think
Because on paper it looks enormous.
Yeah, it's not. It's rolling.
Okay.
At least the elevation is not in sand, so it's just like and also like a steady going up. It's not like a wall like in Jordan, for example.
Okay.
That wall, that was not the thing. It was more like a steady climb. So
Do you know I had to do that twice, by the way?
The wall in Jordan.
I did it once as a sweeper, and also I had to do it to go and check the flags were out. So technically, like, I'm way more.
You're an expert.
Yeah.
And then it was also
What I think
like
you'd be an expert in.
it was also like, well, I couldn't see because it was pitch black, but you would put a foot and it would just go down. It was not sand. Was it a sand? I don't know. I couldn't see.
It was like scree. So
so you will
slippy.
put your foot when you wanted to go up. It was just like it would just
not fun. You guys are heroes for doing it.
So I had to climb up with my hands. I remember because I would keep putting my foot and sliding down. So what I did is like put my clots up and I just like go up so all my weight wouldn't be in my feet. You know, like I would be like trying to pull myself up.
You aren't making this sound fun at all.
Oh man, you literally battle to get up that wall, and then you go up the wall and there's Abbey. Hi guys, good night. And you're like, shut up.
Like, God, these races are so rude.
Exactly. Because the volunteers are like probably super happy, obviously, to see us, and you're like, I almost died down there. And you're like,
oh no, that was an amazing checkpoint as a volunteer.
I know.
There was a gift shop there. It had toilets with running water.
Yeah.
And we were able to get a chicken shawarma delivered to us.
Oh wow. I can't believe it has Uber Eats there.
Another racers are like, well, you probably have to eat away.
I would imagine
Don't worry, we did that well before.
Yeah.
That would not be.
You would, if we see you with chicken, you wouldn't survive. Like you would be like,
we'd be left dead.
Yeah. Listen, I'll guarantee that's how the runners got there. They actually could smell it, so they were just chasing the smell.
we would be probably attacking Abbey for a piece of chicken for sure.
So how do you think it will go running with your husband?
Go back to that topic. Yeah,
I'm interested because we talked about it a bit earlier on. I think the listeners will love to hear that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, there's a big sigh there. I'm just really worried about how I will behave towards him.
Yeah.
Because actually, I think he's going to smash it. He's going to be awesome. But if I am feeling at all weak and he tries to be nice or says, well, maybe we should do this, I know how I might react to that.
Yeah.
Are you guys planning to stay together?
I think we're going to see...
or are you going to be like, oh, whatever happens?
Maybe just go ahead. And that would be my advice to you guys, contingency, even if you think you're going to hang back. And
I will hang back. I know I will hang back.
Andy might turn around and be like,
I don't
want to
behind.
see you again, woman.
No, I'll be behind. I'll be like, just carry on. Actually, when we run, even now, I don't like to have him to the side. Like, I like him to go in the front, just that I know he's not passed out or something.
Fair enough.
For me, I think it's going to be about getting the first day over
front.
with, because once you get the first day over with, you kind of understand a little bit how you're getting through it together. But then also it'll be different on the third day, because by that time we'll probably be demented with each other and be happy with the space, you know what I mean? But
there is, so when you crew someone more for a long race and grueling, and you're like you were saying, you don't know how you feel. You don't even know how you feel sometimes. You just feel irritated for no reason. I heard someone that said a really good advice. Actually, I may apply for this one or for my next race, which is Cocodona 250, that just put like a code to it. So
Okay.
if I get close to you and I'm like, hey, and you're like,
Platypus, then you know there's
and
something wrong.
and just say
Yeah.
red code. Like
Yeah.
you don't need to explain anything
Yeah,
because
I think
sometimes
that's a
it's
great
hard to explain. I'm feeling irritated, and I'll be like, why? Why are you sad? Don't be
Yeah.
sad. You know, like
Yeah,
if you say
exactly.
it's
That's-
red, it's a red code. It's a red code,
Just
and I should
stay
just
that way.
stay back.
Yeah,
And
I think that's a
whatever.
great
That's a
idea.
really
Or
good
you
idea.
know, green light. Oh yeah, you're having fun. You're green light, red light.
It's like Squid Game, you never
Yeah,
know when you're going to
exactly.
die.
Dead.
I hope you both survive.
Yeah.
So that's another maybe if you're racing with your partner or you're crewing with or you're crewing someone or you're being a crew or whatever. I think having codes of some kind it helps a lot because if you're asking a person to like how are you feeling, like don't ask a runner
Yeah.
how they're feeling. We
Yeah.
have no idea,
Yeah.
and we don't know.
Well, the
We
reason
really
I
don't
was
know.
asking was because one of our favourite topics on here, as the listeners will know, is we talk about mental toolkit a lot.
Yeah.
So, do you think that your mental toolkit will need to be adjusted running with someone
Yes.
rather
definitely.
than on your own?
Yeah.
So, what do you think will be different?
So I think it's striking that balance between, like I was saying, you get to be really selfish, but actually you've got a partner who you're really close to, and you
Yeah.
are going to be aware of how
Yeah.
they are feeling, even if they don't know how they're feeling. So I think it's just something to like work through together, but
Yeah.
I think it's about enjoying it as well.
Yeah.
It's really fun. And
Yeah.
so you get to plan the whole thing together, and then afterwards you're going to have loads of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, those memories will last
Yeah.
forever, won't they?
Well, Adi's doing it to earn a holiday in Santorini after. So
Yeah.
that's his.
Sure, why not?
That's his.
There you go.
That's what he's aiming for. So if he doesn't
Yeah.
finish, he's gonna be shipped back home.
Yeah, so I was wondering about this, your whole like holiday, and if you don't finish, it gets cancelled. So
No, I'll go.
Okay.
He gets shipped
Tanya
back.
thinks she's going to.
Can I
Maybe
come
I'll
with
finish
you?
it. Tanya won't.
You're cold. Like you're in the list. If he doesn't survive, I mean, we're
number
going
one.
because I already paid for the whole holiday, so
Yeah.
you're coming.
Yeah.
He gets shipped back home. I was saying that for me, that pulled me in Jordan so many times because we had a holiday to a place that I really wanted to go after, and I thought if I don't finish,
Yeah.
I don't want to get to that holiday feeling like I didn't achieve it or like
Yeah, you need something
something.
to get you through, whether it's something tangible like a holiday or, well, I started saying to
Crisps.
myself, I better finish this because otherwise I'm going to have to do it at least 1.5 times.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a good
And
one. So that's so
don't want to climb that dune again. So
Yeah. But in the mental toolkit side of things, is
That's
there
right.
anything that you tap into on those really difficult times?
Mantras.
Because a lot of people, I've heard all sorts of things from people that maybe have had a troubled past, and what they do is they remember that and drags them through, to people that literally go through, as Tanya was saying, mantras and just mantra themselves through the next kilometre or whatever it might
yeah, I might like mantra myself or just kind of like, okay, just steady energy, and just sometimes I think I've even said to myself like right, left.
be.
Okay,
Yeah.
just
Right, yeah.
pink flag to pink flag.
Yeah.
Almost, I think what you're doing there is distracting your brain
Yeah.
from, oh my God, this is really hard, and why do I have another 47 kilometers to go? I try to imagine, like, from my house to where I go to get coffee is like a solid 1K, and
Yeah.
I would try and play that over in my mind. And be
Right.
like, okay, I'm just going to get a coffee.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
love it.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to get another coffee, or I'm coming home, and sometimes you just want to break it down into those smaller chunks.
Yeah.
Not even I can get to the next checkpoint. You
Yeah.
can, but
10 kilometers is a lot.
10 kilometers.
Yeah.
When you're feeling
Yeah.
rough, definitely.
It's interesting you say the pink flag to pink flag, because we've had people on the podcast that have said the same thing.
Yeah.
In my head, I know that I'll be thinking I can do easy. I can do a 5K easy. I can do a 5K anytime. So for me, it'll be like next 5K, and also in my head, I'll be thinking there's not many 5Ks to complete it apart from the long march.
Yeah.
So that'll kind of push me through as well. So that's why I'm terrified of the long march.
So his running
Runner's
math.
math is
His
just-
run- yeah.
I'm loving it. Whatever works for people.
But maybe start like getting into your mental toolkit that it is just 5K.
Yeah.
But it might be a harder 5K than you've ever experienced.
Yeah, because it's
to
the
date.
elevation or whatever it may be.
I would say like pink flag to pink flag works better, to be honest. Yeah. I had the game of running to a pink flag and then walking to the next
Yes,
one.
I did that
game. I do that game. And whatever that happens, because one pink flag can be really far. And I'm like,
Yeah, one could be 100 meters.
this is insane. Why do I have to run this one? So it was a fun game to see where the next pink flag was going to end up, you know?
That's because in Atacama, it was a lot less runnable than...
Oh, really?
I mean,
Oh, really?
It's not very runnable.
No. Okay.
It wasn't for me anyway, but everyone is different, and I think that helped. So when there were runnable bits, you kind of...
Yeah.
You almost enjoyed it because you could
Well,
run.
Gobi is very runnable.
Okay.
So you can do that much more. In Gobi, I did like I played my game.
Yeah.
I think every day. It
And
was
you
like,
need games
run it,
because you're probably not listening to music all the time.
Yeah.
No.
But I had Taylor Swift on standby, so she helped me through the Valley of the Moon, and that was fun.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm here at sunset, I'm singing Tay Tay.
Yeah, life is good. There's nothing that can bother me. There's like, that's what I love this race. You're so literally disconnected from everything.
Yeah.
And I love it. The sad part comes when you go back to the hotel and you turn on your Wi-Fi again, and obviously, like, that is horrendous. Like,
Just don't do it.
1,000 messages, and
Yeah.
everyone's like turning on, and the ping sounds, and it's like suddenly you're connected
Yeah,
again.
you're back again.
And then you kind of like crave that feeling of being disconnected again. That's why I think it becomes so addictive, because then you're like, I want to have that again. And then,
I just love not having
Because-
my phone.
Yeah.
Andy's saying that he's scared that when he finishes this one, when he completes one, he's not going to be able to stop, because we've interviewed and meet obviously a lot of people that have done it, and there's no
Nobody
one
does
single person that has done one and say, oh, this is not for me, I'm gone. Actually, like, they're all like,
But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You don't have to do 5 in a year.
No.
no.
I wouldn't even
You wouldn't
advise
do
that.
that
I wouldn't even
And just
advise
like
I would
that.
let you.
You're going to get another holiday out of the next one.
Yeah.
Right?
See what I mean?
See, that's what I'm trying to wrap my head around. I'm trying to say to myself that actually Greece will be a holiday run, and it'll just be a walking holiday and a running holiday.
Just
And then-
going on a walking holiday.
Try to train that mind already.
Exactly. So exactly. So we're very excited,
Yeah.
and we want to thank you so much for coming,
You're
having
so
a
welcome.
chat with us.
Yeah,
I
it's
am
been
so
great.
excited to have we're going to have a new running buddy. We can't wait to share with you all the trails here
Yes, I
and
can't
the
wait.
runs, and it's going to be a blast.
And remember, don't trust Tanya.
I won't.
But I think she is a strong mind. By now, I would know, like, I don't need to lie to her. Like, she will be fine. Like, she's a big girl. She can take it. Like,
Do you not
okay,
think
we're
it's
going to do
hilarious
this,
that I don't
this,
need
and
to
that.
lie?
I don't need to lie with her. But because he was just starting to run, so if I go and tell him,
I like
we're
how
going to
you
do
just take him out on a 20k run there.
Yeah.
Like, just for starters.
But it's
Yeah.
not a run; it's a hike. It's like the
Yeah.
races. You walk.
She kept
you
saying to me, we'll go to the
hike.
camel farm. Yeah, like, great.
That was like 15 kilometers in. I'm like, oh, now we need to go back.
Did she bring good snacks for you?
No, I brought mine.
Okay.
He brings
I take a
us-
banana everywhere.
He takes a banana, and maybe you want to start
Yeah, try to, like,
using
get my
like
stomach.
I don't know if you want to try like with like Abby was
I
saying.
love that idea, Abby. That
a
would
little
definitely be
bit-
something for me.
'cause-
Yeah, because for me, it'll bore me having the gels and having the gummies, and that'll be all I have.
Yeah.
That idea of reaching
You need
into a
to-
bag and having something a different bite every time.
Yeah,
which
you
it
need to
will
think
be,
if
yeah.
you want to go that
Yeah.
route, or maybe a mix of both. Maybe a
Yeah.
little bit of gels with a little bit of
Yeah.
that. Just I didn't pack real food, which I probably like better, just because of the weight. It is a
Yeah.
tiny bit heavier than maybe a gel. You know, it's a little bit more concentrated a gel, so it's smaller. And like you were saying, my backpack is not very big, so I have to be very, considerate of the size and the weight and the space. But you need to check out. So that's going to be fun for him to figure out what works for him.
Just
and-
on that note, before we end the podcast, is there anything, one thing that you would give everybody advice on Atacama?
Oh, I'm scared.
Just enjoy it, and you can
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Right?
That's-
It's possible for everyone.
It's so possible.
That's a question. We should ask the question of the podcast. Do you think anybody can do
Oh.
these races?
I do,
But
yeah.
You need the right mental
Yes.
capacity.
Excellent. Yeah.
okay.
It's actually not the physicality at all.
No.
It's the mental
Yeah,
side of it.
absolutely.
This has been the burning question from episode 1 when Tanya said everybody can do it.
And then I came back from Namibia and I'm
we
like,
flip-flopped about
I don't
100
know
times.
if anyone can do this. I'm like scarred for life after this.
I tell you what, if I can do Greece and I can do Ultra, anybody can do it.
We ended up-
That'll be the definitive moment when it's true.
After Jordan, because I had to walk all Jordan, I realized I think anybody can do it, just if you're like strong and fit and then you have a good mind. I think literally anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, considering you have those things.
100%.
Yeah. So we want to invite everyone out there to go out and, I don't know, do something difficult this year.
Yeah.
Andy is on it.
Can't believe it. Can't believe
It
it.
took me a year.
I actually
we
think that I'm just going to be Tanya's cameraman. I think that's what it is.
No, I'm going to be your cameraman because everyone's more excited for Andy's race than anything at this point. Everyone's like, how is Andy doing? How is
It's going to be awesome. I'm so glad I get to be there with you.
Yeah,
I
that'll be
think
amazing,
it's
won't it?
even I get excited when someone's like my first race and my first ultra. I think you always remember that one like forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first time is it's always
First time.
to be is always special. So it's going to be really fun to have that moment together for sure. And well, thank you so much everyone for listening. Thank you, Abbey, for
Thank
coming
you.
again.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah, see you in Greece. No, not Atacama. I
Yeah,
see
but
you.
You
in
had to think
Greece.
about that.
I know. I thought, like, no, she did it to come
Hopefully
already.
see you before because I'll be living down the
Oh
road.
yeah,
Yeah.
you'll be here already.
Oh, we can get training runs in.
Mm-hmm. Look at Andy. Andy's getting
Yeah.
excited. You got a new training buddy.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Excellent. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Have a wonderful weekend and remember to keep doing whatever makes you ultra happy.